Alright, so this is a suggestion via a donation. The name of the video is Are Hermit Crabs OP? Let's check it out. Alright guys, so as of right now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that I don't believe Hermit Crabs are OP. Alright? They're not S tier. I would probably say they're probably D tier in the game, right? But I'm definitely probably going to be wrong because he's going to give me all these reasons why he thinks that they're absolutely OP, but I don't think so. But let's see where this takes us. Took damage on contact. Why? The shell?
At first glance, beaches may seem like one of the most relaxed, casual biomes in the entirety of the game.
Not those seagulls flying around, bro.
But upon further analysis, it becomes clear that beaches are just as intense a battleground as every other biome.
Wow.
The fight for survival never stops, and so, of course, there have been a wide variety of strategies and builds that players have come up with to give themselves the best odds.
Let's go.
In particular, the beach's lack of plant cover makes stealth strategies less effective, which in turn creates an essential need for other ways of avoiding attacks from predators, especially aerial predators. Crustaceans in particular are at a pretty big disadvantage, as they don't have the best terrestrial movement speed and don't fare very well in single combat against birds. However, there is one build that has developed a unique strategy to give itself better survival odds: the Hermit Crab.
Okay, before we even jump into this here, okay, is the shell attached to the crab, or is the crab hiding in the shell and moving it around, using it as like a bunker? I know you can't answer me immediately, but that's what's going on in my head. Let's go.
So, crabs as a whole aren't all that powerful. In fact, because of their extremely low skill floor, they're a bit of a noob trap, which is why you see so many cases of players speccing their characters into the exact same set of abilities, without ever actually becoming a dominant meta threat. Still, crab-like builds do tend to have decent base stats, particularly in the realm of defense and power. So with that in mind, you might be surprised to learn that hermit crabs are well below the norm in both of these areas.
Okay, so where are the extra points going, guys? Right? Or do some players, for example, just have higher base stats? Could be. They just have higher base stats, maybe. But I mean, if you're speccing an animal out, guys, or if you're speccing a character out, then they're extra points. Because I mean, think about this here, guys. We looked at the bear the other day, guys, and the bear had much higher stats. The stats were crazy everywhere, right? Is it like a handicap, maybe? Could be. Are they specifically handicapping crabs? And unfortunately, I think, to my knowledge, I mean, everything seems to be evolving into crabs anyway. So, I mean, what's happening to these points? Are they being wasted? Are they purposely just not making them active, guys? What's even the problem here?
Compared to similarly sized crustaceans, their crushing vice grip attack is nothing special, a little on the weak side, in fact. And while most
Bro, that was a shrimp. It couldn't defend itself for the most part from a shrimp. Okay, the title, again, are Hermit Crabs OP? No.
Crustaceans have a tough, calcified exoskeleton that functions as sturdy armor against a variety of attacks. Hermit crabs are one of the few crustacean builds with a very obvious, unarmored weak point that can be attacked for massive damage. However, as you might have guessed, simply looking at the hermit crab's base stats is a bit misleading. The hermit crab's signature ability, Armor Scavenge, more than makes up for this weakness, as it allows the hermit crab to significantly boost its stats to levels that would be otherwise unattainable. The stat this ability's effects are most concentrated in is defense.
Right.
While the hermit crab's defense stat is one of the lowest in the game when unequipped, as long as they've managed to secure a nice shell, their defense jumps to one of the highest in the game, essentially matching the stats of the shell's original owner. The most desirable shells are those of snails, though clam and scallop shells can also do the job. As long as the hermit crab has found a shell to equip, it can block most attacks with ease. Normally, defense stats this high would require extreme investment of evolution points, and would necessitate some serious min-maxing in order to be viable. However, the hermit crab is able to maintain pretty well-rounded stats through the use of this ability. It's not just defense that can be buffed via the Armor Scavenge ability, though. The wide selection of patterns and coloration available among different shells means that a hermit crab can pick and choose what sorts of environments they would like to receive a stealth bonus in. smooth, lightly colored shells will offer bonus camouflage on the beach, while the darker, more jagged shells will offer better camo in reefs. Swapping between shells isn't the only way hermit crabs can augment their stats to fit their playstyle, though. The shells themselves can be augmented to boost certain stats even further.
Let's go.
One particularly advanced technique is equipping sea anemones to the surface of the shell, allowing the hermit crab to deal venom damage on contact. This is important because the hermit crab's basic attacks tend to be pretty mediocre on their own. This is universally true, as the coconut crab, a variation of the hermit crab build, packs one of the strongest crushing grips in the entire game. Strong enough, in fact, that coconut crabs actually drop the armor scavenge ability once they reach size big enough to rely solely on their claws for defense. However, this is an exception, and also something coconut crabs only unlock at high levels. Before that, their game plan is identical to regular hermit crabs, meaning these absolute powerhouses still rely on the armor scavenge ability in order to maintain meta relevancy. Upgrading the hermit crab stats with good shells and add-ons can make or break the viability of the hermit crab build. Unfortunately, securing a proper shell is becoming more and more difficult in the current meta.
You can imagine.
In part, this is due to the acidification of the ocean, which is a huge nerf to the viability of snails, because it causes their shells to partially dissolve. And with less players spawning in as snails, this in turn means more competition for their shell drops. But on top of this, choosing a good shell is getting harder due to an influx of plastic garbage polluting all the best looting areas. Now, while hermit crabs are adaptable, and in some cases can even turn this into a win, plastic shells simply are inferior to the calcium shells dropped by defeated gastropods. But when the resource pool is constantly diluted with these low-quality drops, it's hard for builds with low intelligence like the hermit crab to consistently separate shell from trash.
Right, they're not going to see
Ultimately, this is not a problem the hermit crab mains should be subjected to. And to be honest, compared to other beach-dwelling builds, hermit crabs have it pretty good. The abundance of garbage on beaches can be hugely damaging to less adaptable builds, and something needs to be done.
Can we not see this
This is why
image
I
anymore?
joined Team Seas, an initiative started by some of the best creators on the internet. Our goal is to remove 30 million pounds of trash from the ocean, and to do that, we need your help. It's quite simple, really. Each dollar donated equates to 1 pound of trash deleted from these biomes, which is quite a lot of trash when you think about it.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's like 50 water bottles. There's a link in the description of this video that you can click on to either donate or read more about the plan's specifics. But you can also just tap this fancy new donate button if you're trying to speedrun your conservation efforts. Tierzoo will also be donating to the cause, so I hope you'll join me in giving hermit crabs as well as dozens of other beach-dwelling builds the buff they deserve. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, good luck out there.
All right, guys. Are hermit crabs OP? No. They're not. They're absolutely not OP. I'm sorry. I mean, I like the fact that they can change their shells. Okay, so apparently that answered my question. I fully comprehend it now. But, like, are they just OP by themselves? No. It's kind of similar to horses. Are horses OP? No. But with the combo, they be, you know, that's kind of the force multiplier when the human jumps on it, and then now we have a human and a horse combination, and that is absolutely OP. It is, completely. But the base stats of the horse itself is I mean, I would main a horse. I think so. I think I would. I would definitely main a horse, maybe, right? But I definitely still would not main a hermit crab. That sounds boring, bro. You're moving slowly. Think about that. The movement speed is absolutely trash. And everything in your life is dependent on finding another shell that can up your defense stat. While your intelligence is extremely low, so you will probably even just look for apparently a glass bottle is what we saw here. That's a shell. But it's right. I mean, are you comparing the glass in the ocean to a calcium-rich shell? No, it's terrible, bro. So to finally answer this question personally, are hermit crabs OP? No. Listen, let me know in the comments on the next one of these from him that I should be checking out, and I will get into that as soon as I possibly can. And yeah, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day, and enjoy your day thoroughly.